if you're having pellet feed issues with your Umarex Notos. It's kind of a two-staged problem. Part of it is the magazine, part of it is the pellet probe. There is a workaround for it. If you want to see, I'll show you why I suspect the magazine and the probe. I'll show you a couple of workarounds. So let's get started. I'm going to load the magazine up with these jumbo heavy JSBs, and then we're going to go outside for a quick second. And I did go through the procedure to align and tension my magazine. There is a procedure from Umarex to do that. And that has been done on this magazine, just for anybody that was wondering. Okay, so this is loaded up with 7 JSB exact jumbo heavies. We're going to walk outside real quick, and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, I'm going to drop the magazine in here. And let's see what happens. This won't even chamber the first pellet, and it's jammed. I push a little harder on it than what I normally would, but I want to leave a mark, and I want to show you the marks on there. And now the magazine won't even come out, so I'm gonna have to get a cleaning rod to get the magazine out. We'll try a different pellet in here that will work, and I'll show you the difference, and then I'll explain why it's the way it is. I haven't taken the pellet out of the magazine yet, but you can see there's a nice half moon imprint on the pellet. There's a dimple on this side from me pushing on the cocking arm pretty hard, but I needed to make the mark on the pellet so that you could understand what's going on here. Let me get these out of here. I'm going to load the magazine up with the H&N Sport pellet. It's a wad cutter, and you'd think if it wouldn't load the domed pellets that it certainly wouldn't load a wad cutter. That would be an incorrect assumption. Let me load these up and I'll show you real quick. And I'm going to have one more pellet after these. Let's go outside and run these through. Okay, I got the magazine loaded up with wad cutters. You would think that those wouldn't work very well since they're flat on the front and the round ones wouldn't go in. But no. So let me just run through a couple of these real quick. And it'll do the whole magazine like that. I'm going to show you one other pellet, and then I'll explain why it does this. This time we're going to load it up with these Beemans. They are copper, but that has nothing to do with it. This will all be clear as mud in just a few minutes. I'm surprised nobody else, or at least nobody I have seen, has figured out why this is the way it is. And then I'll show you the Maple Customs with the JSB Exacts. And then I'll come in and explain what's going on. Got her loaded up with the copper pellets. Let's go back outside. I'm getting too old to run up and down the stairs this often. Copper pellets are going in now. They are a little tighter in the barrel, but that's okay. Get my hand on the cocking lever here. Okay, so we get 2 different kinds of pellets going through here. Now I'm going to put the JSBs in here in the Maple Customs magazine and show you that the JSBs actually function, and it'll run the whole magazine. I've done it over and over. You have to trust me on that. I don't want to waste any more pellets than I need to. I'm going to run downstairs, load up the other magazine. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to load up the Maple Customs magazine with the JSBs. This loads different from the factory magazine. That's not why it's better, but let me show you. If you notice, the pellets are actually captured inside of a round circle, and in here each pellet is just a semicircle, and they're not completely captured. Let me throw a couple in there so you can see that better. Okay, if you can see that, each pellet just sits in a little cradle in there, so they're not captured. And that's not the extent of the problem. In here, they are very much captured. Let me finish. I'm just going to put a few more in here. And a nice little touch that they added. This is a 10-shot magazine. The factory magazine is only a 7-shot. And this works out good. I bought two of these magazines. I get about 20 shots before I come off the regulator. Or at that point, I don't trust it anymore. So I'm refilling it without 3 full magazines. 3 mags obviously is 21. This is 20. 2 of these magazines is just right. And then there's a little index mark on here when you get down to your last 3 shots. There's an index mark on here that lets you know that you just have 3 left. I will really like that. Let's go pop these in a magazine and I'll feed some through. These are the ones that would not feed in the Notos magazine. Maple Customs magazine. Cock the gun, slide the magazine in, easy as that. Close the bolt. These are the JSBs that would not feed in the factory mag. And it locks on the last one. So let's go back downstairs and I'll explain why this is happening. First off, this is the pellet that was stuck, and you can see the nice little half moon imprint where it tried to go into the barrel sideways, and you can see how much pressure I was putting on the back of it trying to push it in. And of course the pellets in there sideways is the reason I can't take the magazine out. Now let me show you what's going on here. Try to do this where I can see it. I'm going to push this pellet through really slowly. And as it comes out, watch what it does. See, it's turning sideways as it comes out of the magazine. Now I'm pushing it with this little probe, just like if it was the probe on the air rifle. And watch, here we go. It's coming out sideways. All right, now it shot the other pellets just fine though. Let me dump these back in the can. So let's load it up with some of these wad cutters. All right, let's push the wad cutter through there real slow. See what it does. It does the same thing. Well, how can this be? Because it worked. I'll show you. It has everything to do with the design of the pellet probe. When you start to push this in, that pin is approximately the same size as the little pin I was using, and it gets thicker toward the end. So what's happening, before the thicker part of the probe engages the magazine, it's already turned the pellet sideways, and I'll explain that now. Okay, we're going to get our nifty swifty measuring tool out, and let's measure the depth on the back of a JSB. So we're going to push it up against the tool, and we're sitting at 1.9 millimeters. Convert that to inches if you care to, doesn't matter. We're going to take one of the wad cutters. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, here we go. Wad cutter is 4.39 millimeters deep. And one of these Beemans, let's see what these are. The Beemans are 3.36 millimeters deep. And even the Crossman pellets, I'm not going to measure every pellet I've got, but even on the Crossman pellets, the Premiers, they're only 2 something millimeters deep. What's going on here is the pellets with the shallow skirt are leaving the magazine before the probe can come in and capture the magazine. If it's got a deep skirt on it, this is engaging the magazine and holding the spring back so that it doesn't eject the pellet. And I haven't gone in to see where the transfer port is, but a probe with a slightly longer profile would allow the stock Notos magazine to shoot anything you wanted to shoot. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but the Maple Customs, you can see the orange piece completely is flush with the back. So all of the wiggle room is gone, completely flush. On the factory magazine, there is a little gap in there. Now, it's not a huge gap, but you can see the gap. All Notos would have to do is either make the pellet probe longer or the little insert inside here. They could make that just a teeny bit longer, thicker, to close that gap up, and then this magazine would work just fine. And there may be some variation from magazine to magazine. I know some of them work and some of them don't. It could be the type of pellets that the people are using. I don't know that part of it because I'm not involved with what the other people do. But that tiny little gap right there prevents the pellet probe from engaging the spring, and then it's ejecting the pellets under force, turning them sideways. Remember, if something doesn't work, there's a reason. Sometimes they're easier to find than others, but keep digging or ask somebody. That's what YouTube's for, is to share ideas, share problems, share solutions. A solution I've got coming up next, I found a bipod for the Notos. It's pretty awesome, and I'll show you that in another video. If anybody made it to the end, if you like videos like this, think about subscribing, and I'm going to throw a couple other videos up over here you might like. I'll catch you in one of those, or I'll catch you down the road.